Hey guys, it's Drea. Today I have for you a video I have never ever done before. Even though it is popular on YouTube, I've definitely seen some other people do this. This is your perfect palette. So I am taking all of my single shadows, so only single shadows, and making my perfect palette out of them. I guess people also can do this with just like any shade from different palettes and that kind of thing. But I wanted to do it just with my singles collection. And this is exciting because this is also a collab video with Makeup with Mariela. If you're not following her, she does amazing colorful looks. I can't wait to see her video for this because she has, I think, a little bit of a bigger collection than me when it comes to single shadows. And so she loves colorful looks. I can't wait to see what she comes up with. We didn't really make any rules for each other than we're just gonna each put together our perfect palette. So I'm gonna link to her video down below and her channel. Definitely go check her out. She does weekly shop my stashes. She does some indie makeup videos. She does like actual tutorials. She has beautiful looks all the time. You know, very similar content to me. So if you like my channel, you will definitely like her channel. So definitely go over there, subscribe, and tell her that you came from over here. But let's get into this because I'm really excited to show you what I came up with. So the only kind of rule that I put on myself was that it had to be single shadows, meaning it doesn't have to be in little pans. I did include some pot shadows as well, some different formulas that I don't know if you can put in a palette, to be quite honest. But to me, this is more about color story than it is about formula. So I didn't want to ignore all those shades because, to be honest with you, like the only actual pressed shadow types I have, I think I only have like maybe 4 brands, and I didn't want it to be like all Colourpop or something. So I definitely brought in singles from my pot shadow collections, but I really just wanted to put together what to me is my perfect palette. And when I was thinking about it, you know, it might be different in the winter or the fall. We're going into spring and summer. So this is gonna be definitely a spring and summer palette for me. I wanted it to be somewhat of a rainbow palette, but have a purple bent to it because you know how obsessed I am with purple eyeshadow. I have to have purple in my perfect palette. I think any time of the year I would have a bunch of purple in my perfect palette. So I definitely wanted to be summer, rainbow, purple. If I was putting together a palette, let's say that in my wildest dreams I could do a collab with some kind of brand, I think I would want it to be a pretty condensed palette. I know for sure I wouldn't want to have like a 35 pan palette. I find those types of palettes so overwhelming. Even though you get a ton of variety, I really like to edit things down. And so to me, I was thinking it would definitely have to be somewhere between like 12 to 16 pans in the palette. And I ended up coming up with a 12 pan palette. I'm gonna put a picture over the screen because the actual like I could put them in a magnetized palette except for the pot ones. So I can't really hold it up and show you, but I'm gonna swatch everything. Let's start with what will be the top row. And I did kind of put them in order of how I actually want them to look in the palette. So these are the top rows starting from left to right. The first one here is Stila Kitten. I definitely would want a very shiny, like kind of inner corner highlight shade in my palette. And when I think of that, I think of like the most iconic inner corner highlight shade ever, which is Stila Kitten, which I have in a single just like this. So I'm actually wearing this one today as my inner corner. You can kind of see the way it really pops. This is also a really good all over the lid shade. So if you did want to do just kind of like something a lot lighter in the inner third, this would be a really good shade for that as well. The second shade in here is a definite classic too. This is Makeup Geek Peach Smoothie. You can see I have significant pan on mine. I use this today as my very top transition shade. I actually used 2 transitions today, but this one is a very top. It works really well on, I would say, like lightish to deep medium skin tones in general. This is a really great shade for a transition. It works so well with so many things and it blends so well. So I knew for sure I wanted some kind of peachy transition shade in my palette, and like why not just go with the best one out there? So that's why I picked this one. The next shade in here is yellow. It is Colourpop Tiki. I have loved this shade for a long time. I am getting kind of a good dip in mine. This is such a good transition for summertime looks. So I am using this as well. So I'm using Peach Smoothie, and then just underneath that I'm using Colourpop Tiki, and it definitely warms up any type of summertime look. You can use it with a more colorful look. You can also go with a more like beachy bronzy look. This yellow shade works so well. The last one in the top row here is actually a shade. I don't love the formula on this one, and again, like, this to me is more about color than formula, so I don't necessarily fully recommend this one. This is Colourpop Ready or Yacht. It just doesn't spread very well on the eyelid the way I personally want it to, but this color is a color that I would want in my perfect summertime, springish summertime palette, because it is a shiny, deeper peach shade. So this one to me is something that I would definitely wear like all over my lid in the spring and summer, just like a really gorgeous, shiny, peachy shade, which is something I reach for a lot. Okay, getting into the second row, this is where we start going a lot more colorful. So here is my second row. Starting out with this shade, this is just one of my absolute favorite summertime eyeshadows of all time, and I kind of knew that I had to include it. If you could see, it's such an interesting shift because it has green in it, it has red, and it has yellow. But this is the Touch in Soul Metallist Sparkling Foil Pigment in the shade Sun Aurora. This is what is in the inner corner mixed into the middle shade on my lid. I love using this in the summertime. Sometimes I use it all by itself, sometimes I mix it in with other things, but in general I just think it is one of the most stunning shadows you can possibly find, and this color is just amazing. I don't know if these are being discontinued. They did go on sale at Sephora, like in the clearance section, so I'm not sure. I don't know if you still get it, but it is an amazing shade. The next shade in here, I definitely knew that I wanted this to be somewhat of a rainbow palette, so I wanted to incorporate not just purples and yellows, so I decided to put in a green in here. This is the Sydney Grace shadow in the shade Perfect Vacation, and it's definitely a metal type formula. I am wearing this today on the middle of my eye, but it's mixed in with the Sun Aurora shade, which I really like the effect because it kind of goes a little bit from more yellow in the middle to a little bit more of a greenish yellow in the, more yellow in the inner and a little bit of a greenish yellow in the middle. But I love the way these two shades look together, like even without the purple, just like those two shades. When I swatched these, when I was kind of going through my whole collection for this video, planning it, and I swatched these next to each other, I was like, that is a winning combination, those two right there. I knew I had to put them next to each other in the palette. So then going into some more purple, because this is definitely going to have to lean purple, this palette. This here, say it with me, my favorite purple of all time, Colourpop 143. I absolutely love this color, this formula. It is such a good matte purple shadow, and a lot of the time purple shadows are very unpigmented in palettes. So when Colourpop originally came out with this, I was so impressed, and I've loved it for years. I even have a backup. This is the only shadow in my entire collection I have a backup of. But anyways, this is what I am wearing definitely through my crease. And then the next one here, the other matte purple shade, is from Colourpop as well, and it's called Try Me. This one, I would say this is a little bit more warm tone, and this is definitely a more cool tone purple shadow. But I'm wearing this one more so in the outer V and slightly into the crease, but definitely in the outer V. And so when I was putting together this palette, I was like, okay, I don't want to just have one purple matte shade. I need to have some that have a little bit more depth. So this one being a little bit darker, I think works out really well. Okay, and getting into the last final row, I'm actually super excited about this row. And I didn't use any of these shades today, but I am going to do a look very soon with at least 3 of these. I can't wait. I think they're going to look so stunning together. So this is the final row here. I think that this just kind of like screams summer sultry. And I love that look. Like, I love summer bright, but I love summer nights, summer sultriness. And so that's what this row really is. So the first one here is the Ciate. They're called the Marbled Metals, and this is a single pot shadow in the shade Wicked. It is purple for sure, but it's got a blue shift to it. So sparkly. so sparkly. This is one of my absolute favorite shadows in my entire collection. So again, I knew I had to include this color in my perfect palette. Moving into these three here. So these two are matte. Obviously this one is a Metallist. This one here is from Colourpop. It's called I Owe You. And it's a little bit deeper. Here, let me grab Peach Smoothie. You can see them together. It's just a little bit deeper. So sometimes when I get a palette and it'll have like this shade in it, or it'll have this shade in it, but it won't have both. And a lot of the time what I want to do is I want to blend this type of shade in, this type of shade into this type of shade just a little bit deeper, so that you get that really, really beautiful blend. That's why I really wanted to include that. And I also think that it's going to make a really great crease color for this type of shadow here, and even like this type of shadow. That's why I put it in between the two of those. This one here is from Anastasia. This is the single shadow in Sunset. Like even the name, it's a perfect, perfect summer shadow. I love the nudeness like of these three. I know they're not nude, but they have that kind of like variation on skin tone quality to them that makes it it's gonna make it such a like monochrome summer look that I can't wait to try these three together. So this one here is the deepest brown in this palette. It's called Cute Alert, and it is also from Colourpop. And again, this is just to kind of like have a nice deep brown shade in here. So those are all the shades in my palette. I did think about incorporating a matte brow bone shade and a black, because I do think for some of these looks you could deepen it up really nicely with a black, but at the same time I don't really want to add a fourth row. I don't want to go overboard. I like kind of the cohesiveness of what I've put together here, and so I don't really want to add a fourth row just to have those two shades, where I feel like most people have those two types of shades in their collection somewhere already. And then of course this look is from this palette. You can see like it's definitely kind of a rainbow summertime brights look, but I think that this type of palette could give you so much variation. You could go very, very light spring, you could go very bright, or you could go kind of sultry as well. So I really love what I put together. If I had a bigger collection, I think that this probably would have gone a different way, maybe quite a bit more purple and not as rainbow, but I'm kind of glad that it ended up this way, because it really has given me some ideas and really made me kind of like zone in on what I like about a palette. So that's it for my perfect palette. Go over to Mariela's channel and check out what she has put together. I really can't wait to see it. She'll be linked down below. And that's it. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope that you're speaking kindly to yourself, especially when you look in the mirror. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.